Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. Everybody's favorite topic, Medicare, is on the agenda for today. Not surprised, because this is the Medicare Educational Podcast. Welcome. So, today, we're even going to talk about the most boring of boring things. So excited. Welcome to my world. No, but seriously, today, we're going over the most boring topic. Today's topic is Part D prescriptions. What you need to know. I want to make this one as short as possible. Let's get started. So, the first things first. Uh, Part D prescription drugs is for people who only have regular Medicare and a supplement or just regular Medicare. You won't have a Part D plan if you have Medicare Advantage because Medicare Advantage has the Part D built into it. It's all in one replacement. So what you have is you'll have a Medicare plan with a supplement and a drug plan. That's your Part D prescription drug plan. But you want to avoid not having a drug plan at all unless you have other credible drug coverage. If you have other credible drug coverage, like we talked about in the last episode, other credible drug coverage leads you to the ability of having no drug coverage and no penalty due to not having a drug plan. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about the drug plan and aspects of it and how to make sure you choose the right drug plan and also just a few other little pointers. So first and foremost, I kind of want to discuss the formularies. So it's like a calculator. Okay. Has anybody ever, let's see, best example to use, coding. You ever seen the websites and how they're coded? It's all looks crazy and it's like way over my head and way over yours, I'm sure, unless you're an IT person. The formularies are basically calculations for that specific drug plan. And every single formulary is different. Every single drug plan and every single company covers medications differently. There's also companies that have multiple drug plans. So, how do you make sure that your drugs are covered? I'm going to show you that too. But the best thing to do is to make sure that you have a representative like myself. So let's look at, first and foremost, I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you the formularies, like an example of the formularies. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to share. And so a tool that we all use when it comes to looking up drug plans is always just Medicare.gov. I mean, Medicare.gov gives you the most accurate. There's other platforms out there, but for the beneficiaries and the consumers, this is the most logical one for sure. And all you have to do is just click Find Health and Drug Plans, put your medications in, and it shows you exactly what you should use. So let's just use Mississippi zip code because that's where your boy is from. We're gonna put in here. So you have these questions you just have to go by. Do you get help with your drug costs? All right. So let's just pretend no, we don't get help. If you get extra help or anything like that, guess what? You're gonna have like very, very little cost. If you get extra help, you just have to make sure that the medication is in the formulary. So back to formularies. If it's not in the formulary, then it's not covered by that drug plan, and you will have issues getting your medication. If you have extra help from the state doesn't. It's not your primary insurance; it's your secondary, really, kind of, right? So it comes in and pays the majority of your medication, but it has to be in the formulary, or you will run into issues. Do you want to see drug costs? Yes, it's the whole point. All right, so let's just put some basic medications in. We'll put amlodipine, a little blood pressure medication. We'll do rosuvastatin, cholesterol medication. We'll do, and actually we'll just do a, let's see what I'm taking, right? So for my old brain there. So 75 milligrams clopidogrel, and we'll go with, so we have a blood pressure, a cholesterol, we have a blood thinner. Let's do a, like Trelegy. Trelegy is for breathing, probably for people who have like, breathing issues, maybe COPD, maybe emphysema. It's probably going to have a expensive medication there. I'm trying to do expensive because I want to show, expensive. That's what I want to show. So we want to put a few different options here for pharmacies. Continue to view plans. So we got Walmart and CVS. All right. So in this area, the best one is the Blue Advantage Magnolia PPO. It says $120 for total drug and premium costs for 2025. No matter where you're at in the year, when you look up on this site, it's going to show you for the remainder of the year what your costs are. So in January, if it's $120 for the last quarter, just do the math. It would probably be like $480 for the whole year, which is really good. Then you have United Healthcare, which says it's $400 roughly for the rest of the year. That would put it at like $1,200 for the whole year. Hope that's making sense for you now. So with this medication, Trelegy, that's the one that's jacking it up, because if you take Trelegy off, it's going to be very, very low cost. You would look at the plan that has the lowest cost, and you'd go to it and check it out. So right here it says Trelegy, cost of Trelegy. So that's the only one that's really costing a lot of money. At CVS, it's $15 for every drug except Trelegy. Here it is. So at Walmart, you're paying $120. This is your yearly drug cost by the pharmacy. So what it's doing is it's taking every month and adding them together. So you're paying $40 per month. That's probably going to be a year-wide thing. So what's 4 times 12 is $480 is roughly what you're going to pay, like I was saying. So these formularies, so the plans have formularies, right? So how do we look at the plans for the formulary? I'll show you one way. Let's see if it's on here. So let me just tell you from a representative and a professional standpoint, let me just tell you this. You don't need to do that much research. You don't need to dig in. You don't need to, I need to know. You don't need to know every single little detail. You need to know how much are your medications going to cost. Take them, put them into that platform, and that platform will show you which medications are being covered and which aren't being covered. Now, there's so much more to go into this, right? You don't just go in and sign up for the plan that has the best drug coverage. You might need to do a little mix, right? Maybe one plan has the best drug coverage, but it also costs you the most at the hospital or the doctor or whatever. So you have to look at these things. This is why you have to have a professional like myself or one of my team members to go over this stuff with you in detail. Also, one other thing that's very important, and I always tell people, is if you do this yourself, you're on your own. And it's not a fun world. Medicare is not a fun world to be on your own in. You need to have a representative. You need to have a team behind you. The Real Insurance Group is here to help. We have representatives. You have that representative. That person helps you. Let's say, one of my agents like Lily. Let's say Lily helps you. When Lily gets you on the phone, she goes over everything with you. She becomes your agent. That's who you rely on. So having that is very beneficial, okay? So it's not just, dotting I's, crossing T's. There's a lot more to it. We want to dot I's and cross T's for you. And then we want to do that going forward for forever. That's our job. That's our goal. We want to help you. That's what we're doing this podcast for, right? You think I should be on the phone with people, helping people, but I take time out of my day to go over this information with you because nobody else is doing it. So, all right, let's see here. Next thing we're going to go over is just a couple of commonly asked questions. So let me finish up the formulary real quick. So what is a formulary? A formulary is that particular plan and every single medication that is in that plan as something that is covered. Okay? So you have all these different medications, and these plans, they can choose to cover it or not cover it. Now, Medicare requires them to have certain medications for certain conditions. Like a plan can't just not cover, diabetes medications. They have different brands and different types that they prefer that client to be on, and they'll try to sway you. Or you can come to us and we'll help you find the plan that will pay for the kind of medication that you require or the kind that you prefer. So the formulary is just a simple list, big old list of a bunch of medications that are covered by that plan. And if it's not on there, it's not covered. So what do you have to do? Go to the next plan, find it where it's covered. That's the main thing. So the number one thing I look at for my clients is medications. We look at medications, and then the next thing is doctors. So what is a tier system? So how does the tier system work? So within the drug plan, there's tiers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I've seen even tier 6. The higher the tier, the more expensive the medication is. Probably what it means really is the more severe that medication is. So if it's a tier 5 medication, it means that that medication is for something serious. For Trelegy, for example, it's always been an expensive medication. Trelegy tier level is tier 3. So, and it's $40 a month. So, tier 4 and 5 obviously will be more expensive than that. So the formulary tier system, they kind of play into each other. The formulary is going to determine what the tier system is, or the plan is going to determine what the tier is, or maybe Medicare does. Doesn't matter. It really doesn't. It does not matter. What matters is that you, as the beneficiary, bring a list of your medications to Johnny Boy here or one of my agents, and we go over it with you. Put the screen up. We all look at it together. We figure out exactly which direction to go in for you. Now, I wanted to kind of go over the Part D prescription drug phases. Whether you have a Part D prescription drug plan or a Medicare Advantage plan that covers your drugs, it doesn't matter. Part D phases, they recently changed it. So, go back to my screen share here. So the Part D, all right, so you have Part D. Boom, 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 boom. All right, so we have Part D prescription drugs. You either have a Part D plan or MAPD. So MAPD is Medicare Advantage prescription drug. You guessed it. And then Part D is just your simple Medicare plus drug, right? So it's separate. Medicare plus separate drug plan. All right. The reason that I wanted to type this out is because I want to show you something very, very neat. The phases. So it used to be that the first phase was your deductible phase, and that still is the case. You have a deductible phase. First phase is your deductible. Say your deductible is like $590. You're going to pay the first $590. It excludes something that's really cool, and people have, you have to remember this. The drug plan phases exclude tier 1 and 2 a lot of times, and sometimes tier 3. So that means that you're only paying the deductible on tier 4 and 5, most of the time 3, right? So tier 1 and 2 and 3 sometimes are excluded, right? Tier 2, or the second phase, ICP, initial coverage phase. The initial coverage phase is where you have copays. And those copays, pretty much similar to the maximum out of pocket we went over on Medicare Advantage. Copays that you pay for that drug are going to add up to the maximum out of pocket. Your max out of pocket is your final stage, which is $2,000. That passed into law around 2025. So the Medicare, it was in the the Biden administration passed into law I can't remember which bill it was, but it gave a max out of pocket of $2,000 for drug coverage, which is very beneficial to a lot of people. The one problem that you see with it is it benefits people that, of course, we're paying a lot of money for drugs, but then it does not benefit the other people. I think it's a good thing. Something that they used to have, and you hear about this, but you don't have to worry about it anymore, is the donut hole. And the donut hole's actual name is coverage gap. And it's where they would pay the patient, or the beneficiary would pay 25% of the drug costs. And what that would leave us with is you'd have a lot of people, like if you're taking Trelegy, for example, or an insulin, an expensive insulin, you're gonna have that deductible phase. You pay $590. Then you're gonna have the initial coverage phase. Well, you're gonna be in the initial coverage phase up to a certain amount let's say you pay $2,000 in the initial coverage phase. Well, then you would hit the donut hole and you'd pay 25% until you got to like $4,000. It's crazy. Nowadays, you're in the initial coverage phase, you're paying copays, you hit the $2,000 max out of pocket, you don't pay anymore. You work with me, I will make sure that every single avenue is exhausted so that we can get you the lowest drug costs possible. That's my pitch to you, to use me as a company, because the truth is this. Here's the truth. You can use other credible companies. You have, GoodRx. You have Canadian MedStore. You have GlickRx. There's all kinds of different extra programs that can help you with your medications. You can go to the manufacturer and try to get a discount. There's a lot that you can do. What you don't need to do is try to do it all yourself. Drug plans have networks. You always have to make sure that if you want to use a pharmacy, you have to make sure that they are in that program. So earlier when we went to Medicare.gov and I kind of showed you, put your pharmacy in, make sure that pharmacy is actually in network. If you only want to use one pharmacy, just put that one in because it will calculate in network costs. Just make sure you use me. Make sure you use me or one of my representatives. Reach out to us. Go to our website or call us. And the annual notice, I want to make sure you guys understand this. Every year, whoever your drug plan is with, they're going to send you an annual notice. So say it's with Aetna. Aetna's going to send you an annual notice, and they're going to let you know what the following year looks like. If it looks like you need to review it, you reach out to your representative. But if you have a good representative, they will reach out to you every year. Every single year, I call all of my clients between the 1st and the 5th of October, and I go over every single option with them. The first 5 days are dedicated to my clients. I'm talking to about 50, seems like about 25 to 50 people a day. Just depends on how long the conversations are. But you know, when you're as experienced as me, it's, hey, John, hope you're doing well. I got to go over these medications with you real quick and get you prepared for next year. See if you need to make any changes. Pull up their profile. You've already got all their information, and you just pull it up and let them know, hey, you don't need to make a change, or you do need to make a change. So it's good to have somebody to trust like that. Think about it. You guys, you could either do all this stuff yourself, or you could just use somebody that knows what the heck they're doing. And that's what we are. Somebody who knows what the heck they're doing. So today's episode's obviously short. Part D prescription drugs. You have your separate drug plan. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm still sharing. Okay. So I'm going to show you on Medicare.gov as well. So you have Medicare Advantage plans, and then you have prescription drug plans. So the prescription drug plans, look at that, $98 a month. That's how much you're paying for this drug plan. This drug plan pays the full cost, but it's $98 a month. With the Medicare Advantage plan, that's amazing. Look at the difference. So with Medicare Advantage, you're saving $58 a month on Trelegy, right? Zero premium instead of 98, and then you're paying $40 a month. It's nothing. Looks like it was probably zero with the other one, but so you have two different types. You have Medicare Advantage prescription drug, MAPD, or you have regular PDP prescription drug plans. And you just have to make sure that you, if you're going to do this yourself, you got to make sure you put them in there, right? You could end up putting yourself on a plan where the drug's not in the formulary. So that's today's episode, ladies and gents. Prescription drug plans. Don't do it yourself. Reach out to one of our representatives, and we'll give you the guidance that you need. Thanks for joining in today. God bless you. God bless the USA, and God bless Medicare. See you guys and gals later.